I think we can all agree that Eli will be in the Hall of Fame. But D. Wood, is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? Because those are kind of two different things.
In my opinion, I didn't believe he was. I never considered Eli like, the best of his era at any point. This is a guy who led the league in interceptions 3 different times, and the amount of seasons that he's missed the playoffs of the New York Giants. You can't overlook that. But listen, I think everyone can see the moments that Eli Manning put together. When you beat, the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl and you're the Super Bowl MVP, he's never missed a game. Yeah. I mean, think about that. That's incredible. You play in New York City, you're going to get the spotlight. So there's no denying he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I think we just have to accept, we all know that he's going in, and none of us, I think, believe that he talent-wise is there, but we have to accept the fact that it's the ambient atmosphere that's going to get him into the Hall of Fame. He has some very high highs, some awesome tent poles in his career, but the rest of that tent is awfully saggy, and you normally don't get into the Hall of Fame on something like that. You think about somebody like Jim Plunkett, who also has 2 Super Bowl championships and a similar career as far as stats are concerned. He's not in the Hall of Fame. So I think Eli gets in, but mainly because he's part of the Manning family. He had those 2 big highs, and he's happened to be in New York.
Well, as a former voter, as someone who was in that room for about 5 different years, I remember one expression: can you write the history of the game without this particular individual? And Eli Manning had the play against the New England Patriots where he eluded the rush and threw to David Tyree. That was maybe the greatest play in Super Bowl history. He had the one throw, the rope along the sideline to Marion Manningham against the greatest defensive coach, and a throw he had to have and a play he had to make that won that game. Yep. He beat Brett Favre in Lambeau Field in the postseason. He beat Aaron Rodgers in the postseason. This guy has done it at various levels. And beyond that, much like Derek Jeter, as long as he played in New York, in this area, how many times do you remember any whiff of controversy surrounding Eli Manning? The autographed memorabilia was about it. That was about it with him.
I've heard the write the history, and it's something that I used to use also, but I've come to not really appreciate that as an explanation. I think that's what you use when the case is not very strong, because you can't write the history of football without David Tyree's catch either. But no one's standing on the table saying that he needs to get a Hall of Fame. Like, that play is a memorable play, so I just feel like that's a bit of a cop-out.
I feel like someone needs to say the things I'm about to say. You are greatly underselling Eli Manning's career to the point that, candidly, it's ridiculous. Woo. Eli Manning's career is so much better. You can talk about how good you think he is. Those are subjective things. Objectively, Eli Manning had one of the great careers in the history of the sport. He's in the top 10 in practically every statistical category. He, as D. Wood said, he never got hurt. And you're acting as though every quarterback who's in the Hall of Fame is Joe Montana. So if you compare his career to many of the quarterbacks who are in the Hall of Fame, it is vastly superior. He beat Tom Brady when Brady was 18-0. He beat Aaron Rodgers on the road when Rodgers was 15-1 and outplayed them both in those games. He beat Brett Favre, as you mentioned, and outplayed him on the road. I think the best team he ever had, and in which I think he would have won another Super Bowl, got derailed by the fact that his wide receiver shot himself in the leg in a nightclub in New York City. That was the best team the Giants have had since basically the Bill Parcells teams. So I think that we are underselling how good Eli Manning was.
I mean, I understand you named a lot of high points, but at no point was he like the guy in the league, and that's normally how it is. So pointing out that there are other guys in the Hall of Fame that he's better than, like Joe Namath comes to mind, maybe even Terry Bradshaw, despite the fact that he had 4 Super Bowls. There are other guys I think that he's absolutely better than, and I think he will get in. But I'm just saying that just because those guys are in doesn't mean that he's risen to the level of Hall of Fame quarterback. We obviously know he will get in, and he's had some great moments, but he was not a guy that anyone
that's just a sentence that confuses me. If he's as good or better than several Hall of Fame quarterbacks, how does he not rise to the level of Hall of Fame quarterbacks?
Well, I don't necessarily think that those guys deserve to be in either, but they're in there.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube.
For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app.
And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.